Cool. All right, welcome back, everyone. Week 2. Can't believe it's been fast. I think the weather played a big part in it because every professor got scared and canceled class. So today's agenda, I will cover announcements, take attendance, and then today we'll be doing threat hunting. And with that, Morgan is going to walk through a TryHackMe challenge room. So for those that are on our workspace, this will give you points on the leaderboard. All that's good stuff. There's also an attached exercise to my teaching today, also on TryHackMe. So if you guys want to head over to TryHackMe and follow along, at least just for the introduction. The introduction, you don't have to join a box or anything like that. We'll be looking at the MITRE framework. MITRE Attack Navigator is what we'll be looking at. But this is what I will be covering today. So with that, announcements. Last week, if you missed it, we made a GitHub for the Cybersecurity Club. It is for writing write-ups. So if anyone does the challenge room for today and they would like to add their own write-up for it, you're more than welcome to. I was mentioning earlier that for a lot of the upper level classes that the club is in this semester, you know, forensics, ethical hacking, defensive programming, all of that good stuff, you've had to download VMs through VMware, VirtualBox, whatever you're doing it through. And a lot of people have had issues and we've helped each other out. So if anyone would be willing to, you know, do a write-up on how to install these VMs, that would be awesome. That would be really appreciated. And it would also be a very good thing to have on your GitHub because everyone's got to install VMs. And if someone within the club does it, that is constant views, constant traction on your own GitHub and stuff like that. And so it'd be really appreciated. Just let Morgan and I know if you would be interested in doing that. If you have any questions like, hey, I totally want to do it, but I don't really know where to start or like how to even formulate a write-up, we can totally help you with that. That way, if we know that someone is working on it, we don't have like 6 people trying to race to like get it all done at the same time. So that would also, that would be appreciated. Yeah, our GitHub looks awesome. I can also go to our GitHub once I'm done, but to kind of show you around, but that is it for that announcement. Second announcement, if you missed it last week, we are looking to fill most of our officers at the end of the semester. Officers are open for grad students, and you just have to be an APSU student. So we are looking to fill those positions. If you're interested in possibly being an officer, please reach out to an officer that you'd be interested in to find out more about them and what they do and all that stuff, because if we don't have officers to fill our seats, that's kind of how the club goes bye-bye, and that's the last thing I think any of us want. So if you're interested in that, reach out to an officer or reach out to myself if you maybe don't want to step on toes, but trust me, no one is going to have that reaction. And then guest speaker next week. They will be in person. They came last year twice, one in person, one virtual. It's Chad Henderson. I believe they're going to be talking about physical stuff. So they're going to bring a Warberry pie, rubber duckies, all the physical, cool red team hardware stuff that all the people in the movies use and all that stuff. They're going to be bringing it and showing how to build it and what to do with it and all that good stuff. We will make the posters to promote everywhere over the weekend. I will get a bio from them. They are currently working at Alcoa. They're very high up in the cybersecurity team at Alcoa, the mining company. They're based out of Pittsburgh, if anyone knows mining stuff. So that will be awesome next week. Please come in person for that. We will start promoting that probably starting today until leading up to it. So you can bring anyone. It's open to anyone. And then the last announcement, I had kind of made this decision today, so I didn't get a chance to add it. But most of the club we're all in forensics together. Forensics is after this club meeting, which means we are all going to be here from 4 o'clock to 8:30. That is a long time. So from now on, we are going to get pizza unless there's changes, but we're going to do pizza for our food at the club meetings just because being here from 4 to 8:30 is a long time, and some people don't have the availability or opportunity to get dinner, and I'm blanking. The office would have no problem paying for it. They paid for all of our donuts last semester. I just think that's a better idea than donuts because it's more filling and you guys can have dinner and such. So next week we will start having pizza for the club meetings. And then, so yeah, those are our announcements. If everyone could scan attendance, I will also put the attendance link in the Teams chat for those that are virtual today, hopefully.
JC?
Yes.
This is Dr. Johan. So just a quick note, if you are having please send your information to our Director of Communications.
I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself? You cut out.
The Director of Communications, put that in the chat. In that case, I'm gonna mute off.
Dr. Chauhan, you're cutting out still. Could you put it in the chat? I think I heard a little bit, like, was it about, yes, contact the Director of Communications. Yes, we will do it the same way we did it for our last speaker. Thank you. Cool. Let me really quick grab the link. Does anyone have any questions thus far? Pretty self-explanatory. Cool. Okay, there's the link for the attendance. I think the first link I sent was not a good link. Anyways, cool. Did everyone take attendance? All that good jazz? Cool. So, threat hunting, an introduction. Threat hunting and incident response go hand in hand. Last semester, I'd covered incident response, but they are two very distinct approaches within cybersecurity. Threat hunting is proactive, and the method is aimed at detecting cybersecurity threats. It involves an active search for signs of malicious activity, not initiated by any specific event, but is driven by the objective of enhancing an organization's security posture. The process includes triaging the alert, analyzing it, determining if the activity is malicious enough to be classified as an incident. That is incident response. The threat intelligence side, threat hunting is a continuous effort to bolster security without a direct trigger. Despite their different methods and motivations, both strategies are fundamentally aimed at safeguarding an organization's security. So organizations typically begin threat hunting after establishing a robust incident response process and detection mechanism, particularly when they suspect that incidents are not being detected early enough. This is especially true in the face of advanced threats or sophisticated red team exercises, which may evade detection within the organization. The role of threat hunting is to close this detection gap by identifying instantly in the future. Detected threats are promptly passed to then the incident response team with those findings to then remediate them, take care of them, whatever the next course of action are. So that's kind of what this chart is explaining. And then this is also a better way to explain it. It's a never-ending revolving circle. So the threat intel creation, threat hunting picks it up through detection methods and detection mechanisms. There's continuous monitoring going on, and then it hits incident response, and that circle restarts. However, it is a one-way street from threat hunting to incident response. from detection via just specifically hunting. So for anyone who is following along in the TryHackMe room, I just finished the introduction. Just kidding. I just finished the core concepts. So what do you call the approach to finding cybersecurity threats, where there's an active effort done to look for signs of malicious activity? The answer is threat hunting. In this task, what are we contrasting threat hunting with? Does anyone know? Incident response. Cool. Incident response is innately reactive. What is done first thing when an initial notification or alert is received? It is blank. This is a little bit harder. It is triaged. And then threat hunting is innately proactive. What is it guided by? That was the first top part of that circle right here. Threat intelligence. Oh, if I could spell. And then threat hunting and incident response are two different approaches that aim to ensure one specific goal is met. It is to strengthen the organization's what? Correct. Good job, guys. You're so smart. Cool. So moving on to task 3. The threat hunting mindset. So the approach taken in a task, particularly in cybersecurity, significantly influences its success. While advanced technology is important, the human element remains the most crucial part of any security team. Equipping with the best tools is necessary, but investing time and resources in developing the right mindset is also equally important. The role of threat intelligence is pivotal in guiding the direction of a hunt. It involves understanding potential threats and their behavior within the environment, which helps narrow down the search to specific areas of interest or potential targets. Unique threat intelligence is developed by internally based on past intrusions and is an asset. However, not all organizations have the experience or capability to generate such intelligence. Indicators of compromise, also known as IOCs, from previous breaches are vital for threat hunters and detection mechanisms. Many organizations lacking the ability to produce actionable threat intelligence internally can benefit from threat intelligence feeds. So here's a good example of that mindset. As mentioned, so the general hunting guide, there's unique threat intelligence, indicators of compromise, MIASP, which is a threat sharing platform that I will be actually sharing in a few weeks. And then there's threat intelligence feeds for anyone who is already in the industry. Recorded future is a big one. I've used recorded future before. And then digital shadows. I don't have experience with digital shadows, but that wraps up the task 3, threat hunting mindset. So what is the most obvious and straightforward example of a unique threat intelligence? Oh my gosh, no way. Cool. Task 4, the threat hunting process. The focus of threat hunting is crucial in determining its direction, with threat hunters frequently revisiting the key question of what they are searching for. This process involves continuously gathering evidence related to this objective. Highlighted as part of threat intelligence, certain elements are particularly noteworthy for their immediate value in hunting. These include these 3. Known relevant malware, attack residues, and known vulnerabilities of products and or applications. In summary, the first one utilizes publicly available analysis of software. If anyone's heard of VX Underground, they're a huge malware depot and is a very good resource to use for those that are currently just looking around for relevant malware. And then
use malware.
Yeah, don't use malware for bad stuff, disclaimer. But VX Underground is a great resource for those that want to look at malware. Attack residues, identifying these in the environment is extremely valuable, especially if an attack is suspected. The challenge lies within distinguishing what the residue is. And this one is kind of harder to do. And then known vulnerabilities, the last one. Threat actors often exploit vulnerabilities in an organization's used product and application. Hunting and patching these known vulnerabilities is essential. This includes being vigilant about zero-day vulnerabilities and stuff like that. So threat hunting has a lot of approaches when it comes to this career field. Here's another really good chart of the process. This discussion and chart right here is a general discussion of usual threat hunt targets and is no way an exhaustive list, but it is a good place to start. Every organization has their quirks and unique characteristics that must also be factored in whenever a hunting task is at hand. In threat hunting, the primary focus is to identify and address specific actionable threats within an organization. This process includes looking for known relevant malware, using resources such as public depots. Additionally, identifying attack residues is crucial. Lastly, it's important to actively search and patch for these known vulnerabilities. So here's the general hunting guide, known relevant malware. Some examples is the Zoo repository, Threat Encyclopedia, VX Underground is mentioned. Then there's attack residues, any indicators of an attack, indicators of compromise, and then known vulnerabilities, 0 days and CVEs. They're huge. If you're going to be going into risk and governance, CVEs are going to become your best friend constantly. You're going to be looking to see if a company has been hit by a CVE, if they are at any possibility of being hit by a CVE. Very prevalent and very useful. So that wraps up task 4.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
How would a 0 day be a known vulnerability? Am I reading that wrong?
So with a 0 day, 0 days are known vulnerabilities because the 0 day itself is unexpected, and they hit really hard because there is nothing there's no history about them, in the sense that when you hear about a 0 day, it's a vulnerability, if that makes any sense. It's not from the perspective that the 0 day has a ton of information about it, because you can't. That's the point of a 0 day. It's more of the term that when something gets labeled a 0 day, it's a big deal and it's very prevalent and right now in the moment because it's brand new, not seen, unheard of. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Their terming probably should be corrected because you're right. It is not a known vulnerability. However, when someone mentions a 0 day, most people know what that means and entails and understands the level of importance, because in most security organizations, the posture is if you get hit by a 0 day, the alarms are ringing, the filing cabinets are on fire, everyone is running around because they have no security to deal with that said 0 day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it kind of.
Hey, JC,
Yes.
just to supplement just for a second, this is
Go
Professor
for it.
Richard. Just
Go for it.
just as a supplement to that, Stuxnet had 4 0 days in it, and if you find a 0 day, you can make $100,000 to $1 million if you sell it to different organizations. It's a bad thing.
Dr. Chauhan also in the chat had mentioned that 0 day vulnerabilities are any vulnerabilities that were unknown until they were publicly disclosed or taken advantage of. Does that also better help answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I know what the definition is. I was saying that right.
Yeah, their terming should probably be different. This is a chart that I took just straight from them, as you'll see.
No worries.
Yeah. So with that, malwares are constantly being used in the toolkits. What is the live malware repository that we touched on above? Hint, hint, it's in that chart. The zoo. Let's see if it's not. Cool. What example of threat intelligence blends well with the environmental noise? Attack residue. Awesome. And then what should the organization be extra vigilant in monitoring announcements of? 0 days. Yeah, they probably should have changed the terms for that because that's tricky. And then characterization of the subject of the hunt into specific identifiers is imperative for the hunt's success. How is this done most effectively? This is done through attack signatures and IOCs. Cool. Nope. If I could spell every time. Cool. So our practical application. The MITRE ATT&CK framework. Has anyone ever looked at the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator before? It's very useful. It's very helpful. So I'm going to walk through this with you guys together. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Probably on my own machine. Ignore the explicit word that was up at the top. Cool. Going back to that. Sick. So the Attack Navigator landing page looks like this. You're going to create a new layer in the enterprise, and then this will show us a blank navigator page. So to select the magnifying glass right here on selection controls. Can everyone see this okay? I can zoom in if you need me to. So you're going to click this magnifying glass. And this helps you narrow down what you're looking at, add colors to it, and all this stuff. So we are going to type WannaCry. Should come up. Oh, if I could spell correctly. Inside the okay, and then the software is going to show a result. We're going to select. So automatically you see the malware WannaCry, the threat WannaCry. It highlights blue. It's not very bright because this display is not that great. People on Zoom can see this a lot better. But there was automatically 5 boxes that were highlighted blue because WannaCry was associated with these types of techniques. So what the MITRE ATT&CK framework helps you see is specifically what areas of these threats we're hitting. So that way you can kind of get a better idea of when you're dealing with a specific type of malware or vulnerability, what it was going to be doing. So WannaCry dealt with exploitation of remote services, a lateral tool transfer, file and discovery, peripheral device discovery, and then Windows management intrusion. So it was how it was executed, any lateral movement techniques, and then the discovery of it where it was discovered. And then to better visualize our selection, we're going to change the background color under technique controls. I'm going to change it. So see how they changed to white? There you go. You can better see it. So now we're going to do this also with Stuxnet because Stuxnet is probably one of the biggest ones you'll ever hear talked about. So Stuxnet also is under campaign. Nope, just kidding. Autocorrect. Thank you. Stuxnet. Under software, you'll see it again. Select it again. I'm going to change the color this time to red. I wonder if there's a way I can do different colors for each. Nope, just kidding. If you guys also want to see a blog about the specific ones, I just learned this. If you click view, it'll take you to a page and tell you all about Stuxnet. It'll just learn it just now. Literally just now. Yeah, just now. I'm learning on the fly. So you'll see the techniques used. Here's all the software. A lot of it. You'll see the domains, IDs, names, uses of it. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that until right now. There's got to be a way I can. And then what was the other one? The last one. Configure. This will also come up in software. You'll select this as well. I hate the color red. So what you can also do, this time, you can set a score. So right at technique controls, you can add a score. So I'm going to give it a score of 4. And then that's not what I wanted. Once you've repeated, okay, so now you're gonna select the plus button somewhere. Ooh. Yes, top left corner, top left corner. You're so right. You're going to create layers from other layers, and then enterprise attack v14, and then under domain, yeah, and then put in A plus B plus C in the score expression. Uh-oh, I goofed.
JC, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it appears that everybody's seeing a white screen.
Oh, you're so right. Can everyone see my screen now? Probably should have been helpful.
Yes.
Cool. So I gave that a score of 2. Start over. No. And then it was Stuxnet. WannaCry. WannaCry was the first one. And then weird. Okay. Anyways, new tab. Create layer from other layers. I don't know why this is doing that.
So you have 2 and 3 as your scores instead of C and B.
Says top of the. Oh, I know why. I was supposed to do that for each individual one. My fault. So I actually am gonna deselect all of it and start over. Good thing we're all starting this together. So create new layer, enterprise, and then we're gonna search for WannaCry. Sorry about that, guys. WannaCry. Software, and then you're going to select. I'm gonna make this one cool. I'm gonna make this one red, and then I'm gonna give this one a score of 1. And then you're gonna hit the plus again. You're gonna do create new layer, enterprise, and then you're gonna search right here in the selection controls, and you're gonna do Stuxnet. And then under, I hate autocorrect. You're gonna click software, select again. This time I'm gonna do a different color. I'm gonna do yellow. And then for scoring, I'm gonna give Stuxnet a score of 2. Hit enter, you'll hit the plus again. Create a new layer, enterprise, search again. You're gonna do, it is CONFICKER. Should be. Select. For this one, I'm gonna do green. Scoring, I'm going to give it a 4. Now you click the plus, create layer from other layers. Here we go. That's what I meant to do the first time. Cool. So you don't need to do, I'm not going to do any of the other settings, but now we have a huge gradient, and I apologize that this color sucks. What's a better way to do it? What are better colors that are coming up? Blue is coming up pretty well. So what I'm going to do actually on red came up well, yellow does not. So let's do blue. And then layer, this one I'm going to do white. Do another one. Oh, kept the same colors. Okay, sick. I guess that didn't even matter. So now what you can see is a better visual aid to see all 3 different attacks: Stuxnet, WannaCry, and Conficker. And so the different colors, if I just read my own guide, I would have explained. So a deep red, which is seen right here, down here, and then that's it for that one. So a deep red color means it's common to all of them. And while the other lighter colors means it's either one or any combination of the 2 threat actors. So here you have, like, these are orange, these are yellow, you have like a green one right here. These ones are like a throw up green. So the scores are arbitrary, and you can set them in terms of relevance to your organization or just random if you tend to play around. The scores also determine the color. These tools and resources at hand would allow for a more straightforward approach to identifying patterns of activity. I wish I knew about this for my interview a few hours earlier. And MITRE has done a lot of work, not only within the cybersecurity sphere, but also in subjects that generally help build a safer world. So with that, we can head back to TryHackMe now. That was the practical application. So glad I could do that with you guys. The single best challenge in threat hunting is knowing when to decide when to move on to other things. When you know you're done with it, here's the CTF analogy. In CTFs, you immediately know before you even start that by the end of it, if you do everything right, there will be a flag that you're waiting for. And if you're not able to get the answer, that just means you need to study more and further improve and yada, yada, yada. That's not the case for threat hunting. It's completely possible and even more probable than not that you do everything right in threat hunting and you're not going to find anything. It is one of the hardest areas within cybersecurity, I would argue, because the satisfaction of being a threat hunter is not there. If you're someone that likes to check boxes, and if you're someone, that likes to see deadlines, and you're moving through sprint 1 and you can go to your manager and be like, hey, I did this, 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 and this is not for you. Sometimes you'll spend months threat hunting and you'll never find anything. But that's normal. There's a very big term in our career field called imposter syndrome. Any of those that have been in internships, you will know that you feel imposter syndrome. Some people that you work under just speak to a different level that you're just not at. And it's very quick for you guys to feel like, wow, maybe I don't belong, or maybe this isn't the career field for me, or X, Y, and Z. Everyone has had imposter syndrome. Those people that you're probably getting imposter syndrome from have also had imposter syndrome. It happens, especially in our career. Our career is very different than normal careers. So you should be fine. Don't let that discourage you. Anyway. They're getting imposter syndrome. Yeah, maybe. I hope not, because I fail all the time. And I had the worst interview of my life like an hour ago. So I hope not.
Well, maybe you're getting imposter syndrome. Someone else is getting imposter.
True. That is also true. That is very true. Interns will give other interns imposter syndrome when those said interns are a two-way street. Anyways, which tactic has the most techniques highlighted? So did everyone kind of do the MITRE attack framework? If not, I can flip back and forth. It's no big deal. So which tactic had the most techniques highlighted? Hint, hint. It's either defense evasion, discovery, or lateral movement. Which one has the most highlighted? Discovery. Which technique does the 3 threats have in common? So which one is red? There should be, in my opinion, multiple answers, but oh, that's so interesting. Blah. So the answer, does anyone have the answer? So, okay, I made a mistake. Red. I don't know what green means. Does anyone know what green means? Hold on, let's look. No, what the green color meant.
That's all.
But so does red. That's what it said red was. Different colors. Deep red means it's common. What is green?
Exploitation of remote witnesses is the answer.
I know that is the answer, but I just want to know why it's green. Because it doesn't say why it would be green. See, not found. It doesn't explain to me. But anyways, well, the answer is what he said. Exploitation of remote services. And then what technique does WannaCry and Conficker have in common? It is... Okay, the answer is right here. Inhibit system recovery is the 2 that they share. And then what is the score of the techniques that Stuxnet and Conficker have in common? I'm just going to give you the answer. It's 6. We don't need to count. And for sake of Morgan running through his room. So goals, you can read back through. It's all philosophical, and it's all like blah, 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 blah. So what is the primary goal of threat hunting? It's to minimize a threat actor's dwell time. Oh. Did I spell it wrong?
JC?
Yes.
This is Dr. Johns. I was looking up some documentation about the coloring. I put it in the chat box.
Okay, awesome. Oh, what?
I made the same time.
Because it's
Stupid. Anyways, so upon profiling threats through our threat hunting efforts, what should these profiles be translated to? Detection mechanisms. Boom, boom, yay, confetti, we did it. Okay. I'm gonna expand the chat so I can see. Greens are things that analytic techniques will most likely catch. Got it. The MITRE organization framework website that I didn't even know existed is also they maintain the CVE database. So all the CVEs that you go to find and look at, depending on whatever side of cyber that you're on, is maintained by these people too. Good to know. I didn't know that either. Cool. Morgan, are you ready to run through your room? So the room Morgan is going to be doing, are you going to join? Are you in the Teams? Oh, are you going to do it for my laptop? Because if you disconnect it, they'll lose it. The Teams people.
it doesn't matter to me.
Like, how are they going to see it? I mean. Oh, okay, that's fine. Sick.
I don't need the attack box or Kelly or anything because it uses the.
So So if anyone wants to get challenge points, now Morgan's gonna get me free challenge points, and I didn't have to do anything.
Hi, everybody. My name is Morgan, and we will be doing the Pyramid of Pain. Now, it sounds scary, Pyramid of Pain, I know, but the pain is what we are inflicting on the attackers, not what they're doing to us. Okay, so you guys have a general idea of what threat hunting is, what it looks like, and stuff like that, so we don't really have to go through the... Why do you have inverted scroll on? What's wrong with you? Anyway, okay. So there are a bunch of different solutions that you'll see out in the environment when you actually get into a job, internship, and the like. Cisco Security, Sentinel-1, and SOC Radar. Those are all well and good, but you need an account. You need to pay for it to use it. So we're not going to do that right now. So we're just going to go, yeah, we read the above. Okay, let's start with hash values. Hash values are categorized as trivial. They're the little blue part at the bottom of this nice little diagram they have here. Hashes are pretty basic in cybersecurity. Does everybody have a good handle on what hashes are and their functions and what they're used for?
See ya.
Bye. Okay, so I'll just do a quick refresher. So hash values are meant to represent a piece of data or a file. That data or file is run through a hashing algorithm. Different hashing algorithms you might have heard are Message Digest 5 or MD5. The secure hashing algorithm 1, SHA-1, and other things like that. Hashing algorithms are called one-way functions because it takes an input, does some little magic, and it gives you a set output. So MD5, for example, will give you 32 hexadecimal characters. And that is to represent a piece of data. Now, you can't take a hash and then bring something out, because you could take a hash value of like a 30 terabyte hard drive and get 32 alphanumeric characters, right? So it's not the data itself, it's not an encryption form of anything, it's specifically for representing the data itself. Now, hashes aren't considered cryptographically secure if two different inputs to a certain hashing algorithm gives you the same output. Now, in security, when you're doing like your pen testing and hacking type stuff, a lot of the times we'll use things like John the Ripper or Hashcat to compare two hashes of a password. And effectively the way those things work is it takes the hash and it takes a long word list, whatever tool you're using. John the Ripper, for example, will go through and hash every value on that word list. And if it matches, the hash matches the one that you are running it against, the input is most likely the same. And that's how you get passwords and stuff like that. Just in case you didn't know how to hack passwords, and I do. But if I have a 30 terabyte hard drive that I want to take a hash value of, and a 2 gigabyte file that I want to take a hash of, and they end up being the same, that's not cryptographically secure. Now, hashing in the form of threat hunting is hash values are often collected in things like incident response or digital forensics and stuff. And the community at large will take the hashes of malicious files that they find and put it into websites like VirusTotal or MetaDefender Cloud. Who here has used VirusTotal before? Yeah, okay, so some of you are familiar with it. VirusTotal is really cool. It's definitely something you want to have in your back pocket. You can look up malicious files by hash values. You can look up URLs, IP addresses. You can upload actual files. Like if you have a PDF that you don't think is a PDF, you can upload it to VirusTotal. It will run it through like 80-something different detection engines and antivirus softwares, and it will generate a report for you and give it to you. Files will also be taken and have behavior analytics and stuff like that. And the community can also add notes. So if something's not specifically malicious, but has been used as spam, like an IP address, for example, has been the source of spam in the past, it may not register on VirusTotal as being bad, but the behavioral analytics from the community will say, hey, we've seen spam from this. And so basically, for threat hunting, if you go through something and you see a data artifact or something and you want to get the hash of that, and you think it might be bad, you can upload it to something like VirusTotal, and it will do a lot of the legwork out of determining whether something is good or bad. So that's one online tool. Here it shows PowerShell, a little bit of PowerShell syntax on how to get a hash from a file. It just uses the get file hash commandlet. And then the second part here, it will show you that you append the hash, you add more value, different characters in the value you took to hash, and you can see those two characters, or those two output strings right here are different, because theoretically, if you change something inside of a value and inside of a piece of data and then you hash it, you should get a separate thing. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's look at this question. Analyze the report associated with the hash that here. What is the file name of the sample? All right, let's go take a look here. All right, so this is what you're going to see when you look at the, move you down here. Go away. So this is what you're going to see when you go to VirusTotal and you submit a sample. Up in the top left-hand corner, you can see the hash value that we're looking at, and obviously the big wheel with 37 out of 59 with the red shows you that 37 out of the 59 vendors who that did processing on this specific hash have flagged it as bad. Down here, you can see some of the information regarding what it thinks it is or what the different detection engines have reported. So Trojan downloaders, malicious, a VB Trojan. Oh no. Okay. So that just gives you a little bit more information. Of course, you can go over here to behavior and see more things. You can get context from the community at the community tab. Now, the question that we're looking at is what is the file name associated with this hash? Looking at this, does anyone have a sneaking idea of what the name of this file is? All right, I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. So if we look up here at the beginning, at the top of this VirusTotal page, we can see 37 vendors and 2 sandboxes flag this file as malicious, and we'll give us some information. So this right here is the hash value that we put in, and we can see here that it shows as an XLS file. It shows us the size and the time that it was input. Now down here, since the hash was found in the database, the VirusTotal will return the named file. So your file name for this hash is sales_receipt5606.xls. Now to prove I'm not lying, let's go and look at that. How do you spell receipt? Is it IP?
Yeah, nope, you had it.
I always get that wrong. 5606.xls. All right.
Yo.
Did it. You guys are great. All right. So
Easy, simple, annoying, I saw that.
okay, so and that's something that's trivial, right? Because a way an attacker can go about changing something that you're looking for. If you find a hash and you put it in VirusTotal and it's a known bad, it will return bad. But if an attacker wants to edit some of their information a little bit differently, add bogus strings or whatever that aren't used, it can change the hash value. So it's something that's trivial to change, which is why it's rated as trivial for the Pyramid of Pain. Okay, IP addresses. Now, we know what IP addresses are. We're all computer science, unless you're not, welcome. They're basically the numeric values that addresses, interconnected things. If you want more information, you can of course do the what is networking room. So this will introduce us to a new tool here, right? app.anyrun.com. If you've taken malware analysis, you might have heard of that. If you work in the field and you do malware analysis, you would have heard of it. App.anyrun.com, or Anyrun is an online sandbox that you could submit malware files or any suspected samples to and have it run in a virtualized cloud-based environment. And Anyrun will return information like calls to other IP addresses, C2 servers, any malicious activity, registry changes, suspected files, all of that fancy stuff, right? So that's effectively that. Okay. Now, when you run things through Anyrun, it will generate a report for you, and you can go through and look at some of the reports. Now, one of the things with threat hunting that you want to be able to do is parse through all of the junk information that you're going to get, because Anyrun, as we'll see here in a second, produces reports that are extremely detailed, and you have to have the wherewithal to sift through that information to find the things that you're looking for specifically. Okay. So this also goes to mention FastFlux, which is an IP address thing you can look up. It's not particularly relevant to threat hunting. It's just a way that threat actors can avoid IP addresses being connected to their domains that are malicious. Okay, so we'll go to the questions. Read the following report to answer this question. What is the first IP address the malicious process PID 1632 attempts to communicate with? All right, well, let's go find out. Let's go take a look at this. This is a report generated by Anyrun. Let's see if we can zoom in a little. God damn it. I'm gonna kill myself later tonight. All right, cool. Okay, so we can see here the file name that we've uploaded is somemalicious_file.bin. It gives you threats. This is that, which is something that is publicly available and is known to the community. We can see the analysis date. We can see the OS that it was targeted on. This is a disclaimer with any run. You can have a free version of any run, and you can upload files to it and watch what it does, but it only gives you a 32-bit Windows 7 operating system. So if you're actually doing real malware analysis, you're going to want something like Windows 10 or 11, 64-bit, and that's like $300 a month. So that's stupid. Do it manually. It's a lot cooler. All right. It will also give you the hashes here. So these are the hash values of the file that you've done, so you can cross-reference this with something like VirusTotal and get some more contextually aware behavior from the community and things like that. We'll give you an output of malicious activities, so we can find the keys that are related to this type of malware. Delete shadow copies. It starts this executable to disable recovery. Has ransom notes, obviously, and things like that. There's suspicious things here. Supported languages, application launched itself, which obviously isn't typical. It can also give you more information about system calls or imported DLLs and different things like that. So we see here PID 1632, that's what we're looking for. And we're looking for the IP address that it reaches out. God damn it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to edit that out for the YouTube video.
I gotta bleep something.
Oh, okay, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna try and not press this button. And all those cash, that's how we were gonna afford pizza every week, man. God. All right, and it will also provide you some screenshots. So you can see here it's a Windows 7 operating system, and this is the ransomware thing. It's like, hey, all your stuff's gone, give us money. We can go down to these processes here, and it will give you a little bit more of a visual representation of the graph and the way that the file is accessed. Okay, we can see some information about the processes that are run here, and this is the PID 2256. That's not what we're looking for. We can keep scrolling. All right, let's see something here. This is 1632, runs from this some malicious file.exe file, user admin integrity level high. These are the imported DLLs. Cool, didn't give us an IP address. Let's keep going. Like I said, there's a lot of information here, so you have to be able to parse through stuff. This is a lot of registry information, files and activities. 1632 doing something. Give us an IP address yet, please. HTTP requests. Okay. Oh, there we go. Network activity, right? IP addresses, networks, and all that stuff. So we see here that PID 1632, the first IP address it reaches out to is 50.87.136.52443. Okay. Now we can try and not do that anymore. JC.
Wait, go back to the pyramid of pain. Oh, never mind.
It's right there in that little picture.
Yeah, it's in the picture.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to look through the file.
Oh.
You're supposed to do the report.
I had the domain name because I was looking for the domain name. So wait, go back to the domain name is craftinglegacy.com.
Yes.
So you need to go there anyway, because that's not in the picture.
Yeah, so plug her in.
Plug her in, baby. All right, let's do that. Let's take this. That's great. Okay. 50.87.136. Does anyone else hate watching other people type? God, especially when the professors do it.
Like hackers.
Ooh, when the professors do it?
Craftinglegacy.com.
Craftinglegacy.com, yeah. I know that's one. Good deflection, right? Okay. Oh no. Crafting a.
Oh, my bad.
Wow. Wow. Make me look like an idiot up here, man. It's not me pressing in and out of the fun. That's fun. Okay. So we're going to go to domain names. Now, this is simple, right? Gone from trivial to easy to simple, and I'm out of time. All right. So domain names, DNS, it's always the issue. Let's move on. Basically, the idea here is DNS and host names and stuff that people post on the internet can be publicly purchased and done. Now we see here, this is an example of something called puny code. This is also similar to like typo squatting, where you would put www.googl because if someone accidentally pressed it, they'd go to that website. Here we can see that it looks kind of similar. The eye looks a little weird, but if you aren't paying attention, then that's not something that you're going to be outwardly aware of. But this is Punycode, which is a way of converting words that can't be written in ASCII to Unicoded ASCII characters. So when it renders in your URL, which you'll look at, okay? You can also see that some attackers use URL shorteners, which basically takes the long URL, shortens it. If you ever wanted to prank your buddies and hit them with the good old Rickroll, you might have gone to bit.ly or tinyurl, taken that YouTube video, shortened it, and then sent it to them and saying, hey, click on this, you won $1 million. And they get Rickrolled. So beware if you ever see a bit.ly address, because sometimes, I mean, anybody can go and do that, right? But if you append a plus at the end of it, you will open those files or those URLs in preview mode, which will show you what the contents of the page are going to be without actually redirecting you there. Okay, so that's a big takeaway, because you don't want to actually go to the malicious thing, right? And that's what it kind of says right here. Tiny URL at the end of the URL, add a plus sign. You can also see the connections in any run here. These are the HTTP requests. We can see that we have a 200 OK. It'll also show you UDP traffic down here at the bottom. Post requests, different things like that. I'm not done. That's fine. It'll also show you DNS requests and the different domains that it's going to reach out to, right?
Oh, yeah.
you can, it's okay. I was just playing. I was just kidding. All right, so let's look at this report and provide the first suspicious URL request that you see. And we're going to use this report for the remainder of the task, okay? Yeah, cool.
All my files are encrypted.
Yeah, you did, man.
Whoa.
It's rough out here.
No way.
All right, so let's look at, we see HTTP requests here. Let's look at connections and see if this gives us information. Right, we have TCP requests in that PID 1632 that we were looking at. Process some malicious file.bin, IP address here, and we have a domain.
Whoa.
Cool.
It's the same one.
It's the
from
same
earlier.
one from earlier. Okay. The first suspicious URL request you are seeing. Cool. All right. What term refers to an address used to access websites?
Domain name.
There. Okay. Cool.
What he said.
Yeah. Neat. What type of attack uses Unicode characters in the domain name to initiate it to imitate a known domain? Unicode. Cool. Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah, you're right. Cool, okay. And provide the redirected website for the shortened URL using the preview.
TryHackMe.com.
Oh, did you already try it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to open a random
Yeah.
URL either. Cool. All right, host artifacts. Now we're getting in a little more into the realm of digital forensics, and I'm going to try and breeze through this because I know you guys got stuff to do. Okay, host artifacts are traces or observables that attackers leave on a system. Registry values, suspicious files, execution, process execution, and different little things like that. Malware specifically is one that's obviously very big. There's a lot of different things out there that you can do to look at suspicious files, and it honestly gets really, really cumbersome to look at. One of the things that you guys might have heard about a lot that I would highly recommend adding to your arsenal as well, sysinternals. It's a Windows package that you can use to, or a set of Windows packages that you can use to do different things. If you've taken malware analysis, you probably know about like Regmon, which is the registry monitor, and Sysmon is also something we'll talk about here in a little bit, but those will help you carve through some of these digital artifacts. Now, of course, when we look at this here, we can see PowerShell.exe. It doesn't look right though, because I don't know, it's a P, big O, big L's. I don't know what's going on here, right? We can also see that Russian Panda is the user. We see this weird name right here, G_JUK.exe. It's calling this oddly named PowerShell executable. So we can assume that that's probably something bad. Okay. And here's a little bit more information. All right. Security vendor has analyzed the malicious sample for us. Review the report here. Oops. Okay, anyway. I went to The button. There we go. We did it. All right. Process name regidle makes a post request to an IP address based in the United States on port 8080. What is that IP address?
Do you need it?
Oh, so you guys are just doing this without me? Why am I?
No, go to the network activity part of the report.
I'm getting there. I was gonna say, look at all this junk, guys. You see, this isn't relevant information. Let's go to the thing that we're looking for, which is network activity, because those are post requests, right? Post requests out to external IP addresses. See, there's a lot of registry stuff, behavioral analytics here, and if you like looking at like lines and lines of stuff, be a threat hunter.
You can probably do Command F.
Could.
Or don't. That's cool too.
File activity, network activity. There we are. All right. So we see this IP address based here in country code CO. It's on 443 anyways. It's not what we want. But we see country code here at US. Yeah. 96126.101.6 port 8080. I'm gonna say that that's probably the right answer. Will you read that out to me, please?
96, 126, 101.6.
Cool. The actor drops a malicious executable. What is the name of this executable? We don't have to go back to the report to look at that because it's highlighted right here, right? The PowerShell exe is what it's masquerading as, but we can see here that this executable g_juk.exe is what is, I'll scroll up a little bit. That doesn't say. But that's the executable that's calling the PowerShell has put on the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get into it.
Look at the report by virus total. How many vendors determine this host to be malicious?
I hate that
9.
you like hyperlinked all of the things because it
Reports.
makes me so sus to click the link.
Yeah. You see it down in here. 9. Yay. Network artifacts, similarly to host artifacts, are basically post requests, IP addresses, callouts to different C2 servers and different things like that. Things that you can see through Wireshark. That's a Wireshark screenshot if you couldn't tell, which is obviously really, really cool and really, really great. And you should use it all the time. And if you aren't very familiar with Wireshark, Dr. Church gave a fantastic talk on it at Freaknik last year. Minute 26, you can hear me kicking over someone's cup full of ice. Okay, anyway.
Dude, I forgot about that.
And so you can also use T-Shark to carve through packets if you want to do it in the command line. Personally, I think Wireshark's better. GUIs are cool, and Wireshark is kind of the gold standard for that kind of stuff. Okay. So we can see these are user agent strings, which are host or network-based artifacts that we want to look at. We can see they're carving with T-Shark here to look out at the user agent string. Specifically, this user agent string right here, I guess, is associated with Emotet download or Trojan. Let's go to the questions. What browser uses the user agent string shown in the screenshot above? Well, we could go through and read all this. You could type it all out and Google it, which is what the hint says to do, but it's just Internet Explorer, as JC keeps alluding to. And how many post requests are? You want to teach the class? You scroll up, you count at 6. All right.
I think we should count them out now.
And now we've gotten to tools, and this is challenging because if you start blocking off people's tools and you start 86ing the IP addresses to their C2 servers and their different infrastructure that they're going to use to kind of puppeteer your own stuff, it's going to get really annoying really, really quickly because people aren't going to go through the trouble of developing their own tools or rewriting them so that they can consistently try and circumvent whatever mitigations that you put in place, right? So that's why it's challenging. Eventually, you start doing this and people are like, it's not worth it. Okay. Yeah. There are a couple different things that you can use to set up specific detectors for types of tools using different types of methods, DLLs, executables, IP addresses, and things like that. Antivirus signatures is one version. Detection rules are Yara rules. Has anyone heard of Yara rules before? There are detection rules that you can set up in your organization that will look at, it's kind of like snort rules if you've taken the IDS class. You write like, hey, deny IP address, send alert. and you implement that into something like Sysmon or your SIM specifically. We scroll down a little bit here, the SOC Prime Threat Detection Marketplace is a repository basically of a bunch of Sigma rules, which are just open source basic detection rules that you can pull in and implement. If you have a SIM in your organization like QRadar, like I do at my job, they have a drop-down menu where I can go and make a bunch of, or look at community-made SIM rules, implement that into my QRadar, and look for known threats. Just what I'm going to do. SSDeep is also a thing we're going to talk about. This is one of the questions here. So fuzzy hashing is a strong weapon against attacker tools. Essentially what that does is it does similarity analysis between two hashes or two files, right? That may have minor differences. So if someone just appended like, a random junk string into whatever file that they're trying to execute, fuzzy hashing will look at that and be like, they're close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades, so we're gonna throw an alert for that. Okay. One example of fuzzy hashing is uses of SSDeep, which is a nice little resource here if you want to go and look at more about fuzzy hashing. It also gives you different resources and packages, how to install. It's on GitHub. Of course, feel free to go and look at that in your spare time because I'm almost out of it. All right, provide the method used to determine similarity between files. Fuzzy hashing, right? Just said that. All right, provide the alternative name for fuzzy hashes without the abbreviation. Well, let's hop over to SSDeep over here and see if it can tell us. SSDeep is a program for computing context-triggered piecewise hashes. Sounds right to me. Alrighty. Just trust me on this one. Okay. Now TTPs, tough. Effectively, TTPs, as we had explored with the MITRE ATT&CK framework earlier, are different techniques that software, threat actors, malware can use to try and infiltrate your system and exploit any vulnerabilities and things like that. If you go so far as to make sure that certain exploits cannot be used, that attackers will want to use things like SQL injection, things like cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, different things like that, they're not going to develop some new technique to keep attacking you. It doesn't make sense, right? Like if, say, you block, as the paragraph here says, pass the hash attacks, and that's what they're trying to use to authenticate to your domain, well, you might just move on and go try something else. I mean, well, it's not really worth attacking your organization specifically. For most hackers, of course, there's APTs and different hackers out there that do different stuff, but typically they're not going to go through and try and invent new ways to hack stuff when it is probably easier to do something to someone else, which is why blocking TTPs is tough on our pyramid of pain here. Okay, we can look at the attack page.
Can I time out? Does anyone have to leave before class? I know class starts at 5:30 and I just don't want to make sure people are like, I need to go eat or anything like that. Because Morgan's probably just going to finish. Okay, you can continue. Okay.
So we look at the attack matrix webpage. How many techniques fall under the exfiltration category?
Nine.
Is that what you said, 9 or none? I'm sorry, I heard none. I was like, oh, there, it's got to be there, right? Okay, and Chimera is a Chinese-based hacking group that has been active since 2018. What is the name of the commercial remote access tool that they use for C2 beacons and data exfiltration? Now, what JC had discovered on accident earlier is where you can go and look about these different APTs and find information about them, techniques they use, tools, and different stuff like that. I'm not going to go do that because I already did. But I do know that a commercially available, legal used C2 framework by pen testing teams, hacking groups, and different stuff like that. It's called Cobalt Strike. You hear that associated Cobalt Strike beacons quite a bit. So my intuition is telling me that Cobalt Strike is the right answer.
Hey, Landon's leaving.
Bye, Landon.
You can beat TryHackMe without even reading anything. TryHackMe.
Yes.
Don't put me out there like that on the spot. All right. This is the practical part of the pyramid of pain.
This was a pain.
Yeah, because if you did not know, this is broken. You cannot successfully. Okay, I'll show you what it is.
No. I need this laptop for class experience.
No, it's just a.
Okay.
So basically, you just match the definition with the different things, right? So the attacker would get a little annoyed at this stage because he would need to go back and reconfigure if you click on it, it gives you the full definition. Common patterns, registry key changes, drop files, and stuff like that. We would associate that with those artifacts, right? But it's broken, so no matter what combination you use, you will not get the right answer. Which is why, if you go back to the TryHackMe thing here, complete the static site, no answer needed, even though it says once you are sure, submit your answer on the static site to retrieve a flag. You don't need a flag. You just hit good and you're good. Of course, it is a good exercise to go back and cover everything that we've talked about so far.
Like gonna finish the room work for me so I get points?
No, I'm not going to click that last button. As a matter of fact, I'm going to exit out so you have to re-navigate to it. All right, now you've learned the concept of the pyramid of pain. We can apply this in practice. There are other rooms where you can exercise some of these different tools. I do have notes that I took for this, or kind of transcribe these notes a little bit differently. I can put those in the Discord for people that are curious. Personal knowledge management, man. Get out there. Obsidian's great. And will it complete? There you go. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments, critiques? Yeah, I like that. Thanks, Mitchell. Appreciate you.
Yeah, let's go.
Go team.
All right, cool.
Cool. Well,
Sorry,
thank
I
you,
ran a
everyone.
little over, but if JC had expedited her explanation, we could have.
Wow, that was hurtful. Anyways, well, thank you everyone who stuck around. I will post this on the YouTube as soon as possible. Cool. I will see you guys next week. Next week we have an in-person speaker.
Once I'm done with class on Friday. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yesterday,